Alright, kitties, Grandma Shannon here, and we are on part 6 of Where the Sidewalk Ends by Shel Silverstein. This is called Me Stew. I have nothing to put in my stew, you see. Not a bone or a bean or a black-eyed pea. So I'll just climb into the pot and see if I can make a stew out of me. I'll put in some pepper and some salt and I'll sit in the bubbling water. I won't scream a bit. I'll sing while I simmer. I'll smile while I'm stewing. I'll taste myself often to see how I'm doing. I'll stir me around with this big wooden spoon. I'll sieve myself up at 1:45. So bring out your stew bowls and gobbles and snackers. Farewell, I hope you enjoy me with crackers. Double-tailed dog. Would you like to buy a dog with a tail at either end? He's quite the strangest dog there is in town. Though he's not too good at knowing just exactly where he's going, he's very good at sitting down. He doesn't seem to have a place to put a collar, and I'll admit it's rather hard to lead him. He cannot hear you if you call, for he has no ears at all, but it doesn't cost a single cent to feed him. He cannot bite, he'll never bark or growl. Just scratch him on his tail, he finds it pleasing. But you'll have to take him out on walks, for twice as many walks. And I bet that you can quickly guess the reason. Paul Bunyan. I bet a lot of you guys have heard the story of Paul Bunyan. Let's see what this one says. He rode through the woods on a big blue ox. He had fists as hard as chopping blocks. 500 pounds and 9 feet tall. That's Paul. Talk about working when he swung his axe. You could hear it from 1.5 miles. Then he'd yell timber, and down she'd fall. For Paul. Talk about drinking the man so mean that he never drank nothing but kerosene. A 5-gallon can is a little too small. For Paul. Talk about tough. Well, he once had a fight with a thunderstorm on a cold, dark night. I ain't saying he won, but the thunderstorms don't storm at all round here, thanks to Paul. He was 90 years old when he said with a sigh, think I'm going to lay right down here and die. 'Cause sunshine and sorrow, I've seen it all, says Paul. He says there ain't no man alive that can kill me. Ain't no woman round that can thrill me. I think heaven might just be a ball, says Paul. So he died and we cried. It took 18 men just to bust the ground, and 24 more just to lower him down. And he covered him up, and we figured that was all for Paul. But late one night, the trees started shaking. The dogs started howling and the earth started quaking. And out of the ground with a hi, y'all, come Paul. He shook the dirt from off his clothes. He scratched his butt and wiped his nose. You know, being dead wasn't no fun at all, says Paul. Says up in heaven they got harps on their knees. They got clouds and wings, but they got no trees. I don't think that's much of a heaven at all, says Paul. So he jumps on his ox with a fare thee well. He says, I'll find out if there's trees in hell. And he rode away, and that was all we ever seen of Paul. But next time you hear a timber yell, the sounds of it's coming from the pits of hell. Then a weird and devilish ghostly wail, like somebody's chopping the devil's tail. Then a shout, a call, a crash, and a fall. That ain't no mortal man at all. That's Paul. Not the version of Paul Bunyan you've heard before, huh? Dancing Pants. And now for the dancing pants, doing their fabulous dance. From the seat to the pleat, they'll bounce to the beat, with no legs inside 'em and no feet beneath. They'll whirl and they'll twill, and they'll jiggle and prance. So just start the music and give them a chance. Let's have a big hand for the wonderful, marvelous, super sensational, utterly fabulous, talented dancing pants. There's pants dancing all by themselves. I won't hatch. I am a chicken that lives in an egg, but I will not hatch, I will not hatch. The hens all cackle, the roosters all beg, but I will not hatch, I will not hatch. For I hear the talk of pollution and war, and people all shouting and the airplanes roar. And I'm staying right here where it's safe and warm, and I will not hatch. Look, there's a little chicken refusing to come out of his egg. With his mouth full of food. Milford Dupree, though he knew it was rude, talked with his mouth full of food. He never would burp or walk out in the nude, but he talked with his mouth full of food. His mother said, Milford, it's crude and it's lewd to talk with your mouth full of food. Why, even the milk cow, who'd mooed as she chewed, never mooed with her mouth full of food. And the cuckoo would never have cuckooed if he cooed with his mouth full of food. His dad said, get married or get tattooed, but don't talk with your mouth full of food. It was a crime. You would surely get sued if you talked for a mouthful of food. Why, just like an animal, you should be zooed, and you talk with your mouthful of food. For you know we're all put in a terrible mood when you talk with your mouthful of food. They pleaded and begged, he just giggled and chewed, and laughed with his mouthful of food. And advised him, he simply pooh-poohed. He pooh-poohed with his mouthful of food. So they sent for the gluer and had his mouth glued, 'cause he talked with his mouth full of food. Now instead of good morning, he said, I don't talk with my mouth full of food. Silly. My hobby. When you spit from the 26th floor, and it floats on the breeze to the ground, does it fall on the hats or on white Persian cats, or on heads with a pity-pat sound? I used to think it was a bore, but I don't feel that way anymore. As I count up all the hits, as I smile as I sits, I spits from the 26th floor. Okay, this one is called Instructions. If you ever have to choose to bathe an armadillo, use 1 bar of soap and a whole lot of hope, and 72 pads of Brillo. Apparently armadillos are quite dirty. The worst. Look, there's a monster. When singing songs of scariness, of bloodiness and hairiness, I feel obligated at this moment to remind you of the most ferocious beast of all. 3,000 pounds and 9 feet tall, the glurpy slurpy skagregal, who's standing right behind you. What if that monster was standing behind you? That'd be scary. The bagpipe, who wouldn't say no? There's a bagpipe, and there's a turtle. It was 9 o'clock at midnight at 3:15, when a turtle met a bagpipe on the seashore by the sea. The turtle said, my dearie, may I sit with you? I'm weary. The bagpipe didn't say no. Said the turtle to the bagpipe, I have walked this lonely shore. I have talked to waves and pebbles, but I've never loved before. Will you marry me, dear? Is it no you're going to say, dear? But the bagpipe didn't say no. Said the turtle to his darling, please excuse me if I stare, but you have the plattest skin, dear, and you have the strangest hair. If I beg you pretty please, love, could I give you just one squeeze, love? Bagpipe didn't say no. So said the turtle to the bagpipe, ah, you love me, then confess. Let me whisper in your dainty ear and hold you to my chest. And he cuddled her and teased her, and lovingly he squeezed her, and the bagpipe said, "Ow!" Said the turtle to the bagpipe, "Did you honk or bray or neigh? For ow when you are kissed is such a heartless thing to say. Is it that I have offended? Is it that our love is ended?" But the bagpipe didn't say no. Said the turtle to the bagpipe, "Shall I leave you, darling wife? Shall I waddle off to Woden? Shall I crawl out of your life? Shall I move, depart, and go, dear? I beg you, tell me no, dear. But the bagpipe didn't say no. So the turtle crept off crying, and he never came back no more, and left the bagpipe lying on that smooth and sandy shore. And some night, when the tide is low there, I just walked up and said hello there, and politely asked the bagpipe if this story is really so. I assure you, darling children, that the bagpipe would not say no. This says, the longest nose in the world belongs to Miss Betty Bluebonnet, who lets me write things on it. That's silly, huh? Rudy Felsch. Rudy Felsch knows how to belch better than anyone ever did. Margot says that Rudy Felsch is a nasty, vulgar kid. Someday he will go to hell or jail or Canada, but now, every night I pray the first Rudy Felsch will show me how. Fred. From out of the cold Caribbean into the desert Libyan, there crawled a strange amphibian. And shall we call him Fred? You say let's call him Ted, or maybe Lou or Jed, but I want to call him Fred. You like Maurice instead? Or Barney or Red or Lucifer or Ned? Well, anyway, now he's dead. The long-haired boy. Look at that boy with long hair. There was a boy in our town with long hair. I mean, really long hair. And everybody pointed at him, and laughed at him and made fun of him when he walked down the street. The people would roar and stick their tongues out and make funny faces and slam the door, and shout at him from the window until he couldn't stand it any more. So he sat down and cried till his whole body shook, and pretty soon his hair shook too, and it flapped and flapped and lifted, and then he flew. Well, people aren't very nice for making fun of somebody's hair. Oh, here, it's still the same story. Straight up into the air like a helicopter, Jerry Rick saw him and dropped her, knitting and screeched, "It's a flying kid!" Lukey Hastings ran and hid under Old Man Merrill's car. Miss Terrence fainted. Henry Quist tried to shoot him down, but missed. "I thought he was a crow," he said, and round he sailed all through the day, smiling in the strangest way, with the wind in the hair and the sun in his eyes. We saw him swoop and bank and rise. He brushed the treetops and skimmed the grass. On Yerby's lawn he almost crashed right into Hanson's silo, but zoomed up in time and almost hit the clubhouse. The courthouse. Old Man Cooley bit right through his napkin when he saw a kid fly through the diner door. And out the window, tipping the ladder, where Smokey was painting, and he almost had a heart attack. He clung to a rafter. The kid flew on, us running after, cheering and sweating and screaming, "Hooray!" Mayor Lowry shouted, "Hey! Come down here, kid, we'd like to say how proud we are of you today. Whoever thought our little town would have a hero in it? So I'd like to proclaim this day, hey kid, you please come down here a minute?" But the flying kid did not come down. He treaded air above the town, sort of crying and looking down at all of us here on the ground. And then he flew up in the clouds, flapping and flying so far and high, up past the hills and into the sky, until a tiny speck against the sun was all we could see of him, and then he was gone. Well, that was kind of a funny poem. I have a Band-Aid on my finger, one on my knee and one on my nose, one on my heel, two on my shoulder, 3 on my elbow and 9 on my toes. 2 on my wrist and 1 on my ankles. 1 on my chin and 1 on my thigh. 4 on my belly and 5 on my bottom, and 1 on my forehead and 1 on my eye. 1 on my neck and 1 on my neck in case I might need 'em. I have a box full of 35 more. But oh, I do think it's sort of a pity that I don't have a cut or a sore. Dreadful. Someone ate the baby. It's rather sad to say. Someone ate the baby, so she won't be out to play. We'll never hear her whiny cry, or have to feel if she is dry. We'll never hear her asking why. Somebody ate the baby. Someone ate the baby, it's absolutely clear. Someone ate the baby because the baby isn't here. We'll give away her toys and clothes. We'll never have to wipe her nose. Dad says that's just the way it goes. Someone ate the baby. Someone ate the baby. What a frightful thing indeed. Someone ate the baby, though she wasn't very sweet. It was a heartless thing to do. The policemen haven't got a clue. I simply can't imagine who would go and burp, eat the baby. That means the poet is the one that ate the baby, isn't it? All right, we're going to stop right there.